Alright, Tony here for Sprint4 check-in. Still playing the catch-up game? Right, so I've got the B-sphere working with OBBs down here. Some visualizer, aids, clamp, point, standard B-sphere, math. Let's check it out. Later, saving system. First, I'm gonna show you I've what I've managed to get done. So, as you can see, it's completely, well, as precise as it gets. Collision checking. Got our little point there. Pretty neat. Pretty proud of that. Um, way more than I should be, obviously. Right. So this is the max. This is the min. Just showing that everything is in order, and because it looks cool. Right. So OBB on OBB. Yes, I am a terrible person. It doesn't work yet. I honestly don't know why. I know why. I know reasons. I know what's not wrong with it. I just don't know what's wrong. So I've tested all the OBB values that it hits in, goes in, both by just stepping through the debug and looking at the values to make sure they make sense, as well as stepping through some of the comparisons to see what's happening. And uh, half diagonal's fine, min and max are good. Center, I tested the center with the visualizer, like the little boxes. I just put one on the center and I stuck it out front here. I use the same Z value as the min or the max, one of those two. So center works. It's just, and obviously world's world. So it's got to be something with my math, which yeah, if you see temporaries here, that's mostly because still debugging it. Also because these are used a lot, so I don't know if that's. I would think you'd almost not want to recompute it. Although I guess you're just getting it from the world. Either way, it makes it readable. So I'm gonna keep it for now at least until I debug it, so I'm confident it works properly 100% of the time. But right now, it seems to kick out early because the center projection is always greater than the combination of the two projections, which, like, not by too much most of the time, but sometimes it's just I don't know why, but I think this math here is right with the absolute value, dot product difference between those two, norm then divided by the norm, which I pre-compute. That's why I have it as a different thing, because I don't want to compute it for both projections every time. Um, Even though I guess it is just a dot product, but still, this is a collision that's going to run every frame. So to get, oh yeah, I should probably elaborate as to what order it goes in. So maybe you can give me some feedback. Test the text axis overlap is what's called up here, and it basically takes in a bunch of information. I actually call the get center projection, which is basically getting the d value, which is the projection of the center. So it's the value check against up here. So yeah, that's just computed right here and then sent in here because you need yeah, I probably could arrange these a little bit better, but as I was furiously trying to debug this, I did not uh, think it was a good idea to spend any more time trying to figure out how to arrange these functions. But I mean, it works for now. Anyway, so yeah, those brings in all the information, gets the two projections, and these are again temporaries out here because I was trying to debug things. Once it's working 100% of the time, I'm gonna stick uh, this part in here, the function call in there. So yeah, and then of course the projection called twice on both with both scales and diagonals on the same vector with the vector norm, which is pre-computed here with the fast dot product. Yay! So again, let me know if this math is agree if I do something completely stupid on the math, but it's the scale factor times the scale factor, then times this whole mess, which is absolute value of each value on the from the vector, and then multiplied by its counterpart in the diagonal, the half diagonals vector. Yeah, yeah. So then it's added to each, or it's summed, and then divided by the norm of the vector, or the axis, whatever you want to. I just been referring to it as vector. Yeah. Also this is uh, multiplied by the inverse to put it into local space. So that shouldn't be an issue. Uh, Hopefully you're following this. If not, you can read the code or try to read the code in the video. Or I suppose if you really want to, you can just download the database code. You know, whatever strikes your fancy, I suppose. Uh, right. So let's just get on the saving system because I'm taking up too much of your time on basically saying I haven't finished the project. Yay. Uh, and I'm done. Anyway, here's the my savable demo. Got code for it over here. So most of the code right now is here. The basic read and read out. So it just works on one class right now, the player class. That's what I have it set up to do. That's not implemented. Those commands savable. Yeah, this is these functions are for when it's reg has like a registration system. That's so that we can have multiple classes. Same with the commands. So it'll be sort of similar to like the say like the collidable examples. It's sort of like an example, but it's not necessarily part of the whole game object package because you don't want to save everything in the scene, and you don't want to needlessly. I don't want to needlessly hack the game object. Right. So let's show off my fun savable demo because it's already running. Because that's the best thing I have to offer. Right. So let's go. So one, I forgot to show the user side code. So I have it isolated in here in this one class, save test here. So it's just registered for 4 keys. First one saves to file and just changes the data in the savable because that's how it saves the file. Uses that struct that it has. Then it loads on the 2 key. 3 key just updates the screen with the sprite string. And then 4 actually will move the player to wherever you're saved. So I'm holding down 3, as you can see the Z value here, because I have just X and Z, because obviously it's not a flying tank. Don't need to have Y. And where it's changing here. So if I were to hit 1, and then I update it, it's got a saved value there. It's kind of running off the screen, because my font is too big. And the numbers are too big. Yeah, anyway. So I can teleport back. Yay. I'm hitting 4, and I'm going back to the save position. So you can recover positions, and just to prove, because this is neat, I can close it down, completely close down, hit the run key again, and then if I hit 2 to load it, and then 3 to visualize it, and 4 actually reload back to the position. So yeah, works. I just need to implement a registration system next, which that part shouldn't be too hard. The hard part is organizing the data in such a way that it can be generalized. Now for first iteration or second iteration at this point, uh, obviously the registration, and here's like save data that I have currently because it's just a struct, right? So I'm thinking one of the Davids told me that there's these variable functions where you can enter in variable amounts and types of data. I'm thinking I might be able to use that. I'm no expert on variable functions. I'm gonna have to research it further, but that's an avenue to look into. But for now, for this iteration and the next iteration, they will just be hard-coded structs that I might, for the second iteration, I might add 2 or 3 structs so that you can choose what type of struct you want. Either way, like the math for loading that into the file will be dealt with by the engine side. And look at the file. And accordingly, these saves are on the engine side. Although, I don't know, that might change in the future. But it's binary. Yay, binary. Oop, got our binary here. It doesn't really mean anything to me because I mean I probably look at this and figure out which vectors or which vectors which floats are what, but no, waste of time. Yeah, so that's savable system. Oh yeah, probably should continue with my thought from earlier. Next iteration, I plan, on top of everything else we have to do, and the new stuff, or I have, and then the terrain. I'm planning on having a registration system for for my saving system. So basically, I don't, I'm just gonna use a retrofitted version of the executable system because it's basically an executable that's not part of the standard game object package. Uh, because not everything needs to be saved. Why bloat the game object when you don't have to? Yeah. So that's the first part. Second part will be what was it? Will be loading. I mean, multiple classes, right? So I have looked into this a bit, and I honestly cannot remember what I wanted to do, but it's basically I'm gonna have collections of the different objects, and oh yeah, that's right. I was thinking of having like an asset manager type of thing, where you sign up like in addition to like registering your instance of the object, then have like it won't be an asset manager, but it will function like an asset manager. We'll have a map of the different classes. Then that way the like this is what I'm thinking for the second iteration. The third iteration might be different because I might find a better way of doing this. But what I've started planning out for the second iteration is a call it like a map of classes, and the user will specify a string, and then they can that string will go in the header file of in the header file, the header that will be in binary in the save file, which when it's loaded back up, it'll be stuck back into a map. under that name, and that gets around the whole loading back up after, and then the user can pull. Basically, they'll have a bucket of objects or data from the same type of class, and they're gonna and similar to a uh, an asset manager, but it'll be more like, but it'll have probably like a stack in each entry of a stack or a list. I'm not sure yet. Depends on. But basically, you'll just pop off it, so it'll be a stack probably. So you just pop off the things. The only thing is you won't be able to retrieve them in any specific order, because if you try to make it in a specific order, then that causes different problems. So I'm planning on not having that for the iteration. So yeah, it's probably not as much as you wanted, but hopefully that's, inspires some confidence in my ability to deliver something. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there.